The massive ships moved through space like dark clouds. Admiral Quan Ho stood on the bridge of his flagship and watched the stars. Behind him, 50,000 warships followed in perfect formation. The 10th Armada was the most feared force in the galaxy. For 300 years, no planet had stood against them. "Sir, we will reach the human star system in 2 days," reported his tactical officer, Dong Min. The young alien had green skin and 4 arms, like most of his species. He had never seen a battle where the hegemony lost. Quan Ho nodded slowly. His red eyes glowed in the dim light of the bridge. "Tell me about these humans again." His advisor, Hai Wan, stepped forward. She was tall and thin, with silver skin that shone like metal. "They are a young species, Admiral. They have only been in space for a few hundred years. Our scouts report maybe 300 ships total. Very primitive weapons." "And they refused our offer?" Quan Ho asked. "Yes, sir. We gave them the standard ultimatum 3 weeks ago. Surrender completely or face total destruction. They have not responded." Quan Ho laughed. It was a harsh sound. "Foolish creatures. They think their small world can stand against the might of the hegemony. We have destroyed 1,000 worlds. What makes them special?" On the planet Earth, things were very different. In a large room beneath the city of Geneva, President Su Jin sat at a round table with the most important people on the planet. The room was quiet except for the soft hum of computers. "Show me the enemy fleet again," Su Jin said. Admiral Tai Yang touched a button. A huge display showed the approaching alien ships. There were so many that they looked like a swarm of insects. 50,000 ships, Madam President, each one bigger than our largest vessel. They have weapons that can crack planets in half. General Boram leaned forward. She was a tough woman with gray hair and many scars. "Our conventional forces cannot win this fight. We have maybe 400 ships that can fight in space. They outnumber us more than 100 to 1. Dr. Jiho adjusted his glasses. He was the smartest person on Earth when it came to alien life. "The psychological profiles are interesting. These creatures have conquered every species they have met. They expect quick surrender. They do not understand humans very well." Su Jin stood up. She was young for a president, but the war had aged her. "What do our history books tell us about fighting impossible odds?" "That we do not give up," Boram said simply. "Ever. Exactly." Su Jin walked to the big window that showed the Earth. Above. "Send our reply." The message went out on all frequencies. It traveled faster than light to every corner of the galaxy. The words were simple but clear. "Your ultimatum is rejected. Withdraw immediately or face consequences you cannot comprehend." When the message reached the hegemony fleet, Quan Ho read it twice. Then he threw back his head and laughed until tears ran down his face. "Consequences," he gasped. "What consequences can these primitive monkeys threaten us with?" Heiwan looked worried. "Sir, perhaps we should study them more. Their response is unusual." "Unusual?" Quan Ho wiped his eyes. "It is stupid. No species has ever rejected our ultimatum when facing the full 10th Armada. These humans will learn what happens to those who defy the hegemony." He turned to Dong Min. "Prepare the fleet for immediate attack when we arrive. I want this over, quickly. We will bombard their planet until nothing lives. Then we will move on to more important battles." But deep in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, things were moving. Captain Young-Soo checked his instruments one more time. His ship looked like a normal mining station. It had looked that way for 20 years. But hidden inside were weapons that could destroy a battleship. "All stations report ready," his communications officer said. Young-Soo nodded. Around him, 100 other hidden bases waited. They had been built slowly, carefully, over decades. The aliens had scanned the system, but they only saw what humans wanted them to see. On Earth, the final preparations were complete. Every person knew their job. Children as young as 10 had been taught how to fight. Old people who could barely walk carried explosives. The entire planet had become a weapon. Commander Mi Young stood on the bridge of the Terran vessel, Defiant Hope. It was hidden inside a hollowed-out asteroid. Around her, 50 other ships waited in the darkness. They were not pretty ships. They were built for one purpose only, to hurt the enemy as much as possible. Remember, she told her crew, we are not trying to win. We are trying to make them pay. Every alien ship we destroy is one that cannot hurt Earth. Every alien we kill is one less invader. Her weapons officer raised his hand. Captain, what if we die? Mi Young smiled. It was not a happy smile. Then we die fighting. That is what humans do. Back on the Hegemony flagship, Quan Ho studied the human star system. It looked peaceful. A yellow star with several planets. The third planet was blue and green, obviously full of life. It would be beautiful to watch it burn. Sir, Dong Min said, long-range scans show normal space traffic. Cargo ships, passenger vessels, some small, military craft. Nothing that could threaten us. Good, Quan Ho said. Signal the fleet. We attack in 6 hours. I want every human city flattened within 1 day. Hei Wan touched her commander's arm. Admiral, I have been thinking. The humans had time to evacuate their planet. Why are there still so many life signs? Quan Ho shrugged. They are too primitive to organize a proper evacuation. Or maybe they are too stupid to run. Either way, they will all be dead soon. But on Earth, no one was running. In every city, in every town, in every village, humans waited. They had weapons hidden everywhere. They had turned their entire world into a trap. Dr. Ji-Ho looked at his computer screen one last time. It showed files about human history, thousands of years of war, of struggle, of never giving up. He had sent copies of these files to hidden transmitters all over the solar system. When the battle started, every alien ship would receive them. Let them see what they are really fighting, he said to himself. President Su Jin gave her final speech to the world. It was broadcast to every human settlement in the solar system, from the moon to the colonies around Jupiter. My fellow humans, she said, tomorrow we face an enemy that thinks we will surrender. They believe we are weak because we are small. They think we will run because they are many. They are wrong. We are human. We do not surrender. We do not run. We fight until the end. And we make our enemies pay for every inch of ground, every drop of blood, every breath of air. Today, we show the galaxy what it means to be human. The broadcast ended. Across the solar system, humans made their final preparations. They checked their weapons. They said goodbye to their families. They prepared to die, but they also prepared to fight. Captain Hyun Woo sat in his cargo freighter. It was full of nuclear weapons. His job was simple. Ram the biggest alien ship he could find and detonate everything. He would die, but he would take thousands of aliens with him. One more day, he said to his empty ship. One more day, and they will learn. Engineer Sola finished the last checks on the hidden transmitters. When the battle started, they would flood alien communications with human war songs, human battle cries, and human history. The aliens would learn what they were really fighting. As the Hegemony fleet approached, Admiral Quan Ho felt confident. This would be easy. Humans were just another primitive species that would fall before the might of the 10th Armada. He had no idea that he was flying into the greatest trap in human history. Admiral Quan Ho felt good as his fleet entered the human solar system. The massive ships moved in perfect formation, their weapons charged and ready. He had ordered the first wave to begin immediate bombardment. These humans would learn quickly. That resistance was futile. Begin the attack, he commanded. Captain Young-Soo led the first group of ships toward the inner planets. His destroyer Void Render was the size of a small city. Behind him came 500 more warships. They expected to sweep aside any human defenses in minutes. Sir, I am detecting some unusual readings from the asteroid belt, reported his sensor officer. Young-Soo barely looked up. Mining stations. The humans probably use those rocks for resources. Ignore them unless they get in our way. The Hegemony ships moved past the asteroids without worry. The rocks looked dead and empty, just floating debris in the darkness of space. Young-Soo focused on the blue planet ahead. Soon it would be nothing but burning ash. Then the asteroids exploded. The first blast caught Young-Soo completely by surprise. What he had thought was a dead rock suddenly erupted with light and fire. Hidden weapons emerged from camouflaged openings. Nuclear missiles streaked toward his ship. "What is happening?" he shouted. All around him, the asteroid belt came alive. Hundreds of hidden bases revealed themselves. Each one had been disguised to look like a normal space rock. Now they showed their true nature. Weapons platforms built by humans who had been planning this moment for decades. Commander Mi Young watched from her hidden ship as the trap was sprung. The asteroid she was hiding in split open like a flower. The defiant Hope emerged, its weapons already firing. "All ships, attack!" she ordered. "Make every shot count!" The human ships were smaller than the alien vessels. Much smaller. But they had been built for this exact fight. They were fast, they were deadly, and they were piloted by humans who had nothing left to lose. Captain Hyunwoo saw his chance. His cargo freighter looked harmless compared to the giant alien warships. The enemy ignored him as he flew straight toward the largest ship he could see. Inside his hold, nuclear weapons waited. "For Earth!" he shouted, and rammed his ship into the alien cruiser's hull. The explosion could be seen from Mars. When the light faded, both ships were gone. One human freighter had destroyed an alien cruiser that carried 10,000 soldiers. Young Soo stared at his screens in shock. His perfect formation was falling apart. Human ships appeared from everywhere, hidden in asteroids, disguised as space junk, emerging from gas clouds where they had waited for years. "How many ships do they have?" he demanded. "I do not know, sir. They keep appearing." But it was not just ships. The humans had turned everything into a weapon. Mining equipment became missile launchers. Cargo containers were filled with explosives. Even small civilian craft carried enough firepower to damage alien ships. Engineer Sol Ah activated the psychological warfare systems. Every alien ship suddenly found their communications flooded with human transmissions. War songs from 100 different cultures filled their channels. Battle cries in dozens of languages echoed through their ships. Then came the history files. The aliens saw images of human warfare spanning thousands of years. They watched battles where humans fought impossible odds and refused to surrender. They saw the siege of Stalingrad, where humans fought for every building. They witnessed the charge of the Light Brigade, where soldiers rode into certain death, because it was their duty. The alien crews had never seen anything like it. Every other species they had conquered surrendered when facing overwhelming force. But these files showed humans who became more dangerous when cornered. On the Hegemony flagship, Admiral Kwan Ho received the damage reports. In the first hour of battle, he had lost 3,000 ships. 3,000. His mighty fleet had never suffered such losses in a single engagement. "How is this possible?" he demanded. Haewon studied the tactical displays. "Sir, they have turned their entire solar system into a weapon. Every piece of debris, every mining station, every trade route, it was all part of a trap. But our intelligence said they were primitive." "They wanted us to think that," she replied quietly. "We have been deceived." The battle continued to rage. Human tactics were unlike anything the Hegemony had faced. They did not try to win space battles through superior firepower. Instead, they used speed, cunning, and desperation. Lieutenant Hyo Jin piloted her fighter through a cloud of alien debris. Her small ship was fast enough to dodge the enemy's main weapons. She fired missiles at the giant ship's weak points. Their sensor arrays, their communication systems, their weapon mounts. She could not destroy a battleship by herself, but she could blind it, deafen it, and cripple its ability to fight. Other human fighters swarmed around the damaged ship like angry insects, each one taking another small bite. Sergeant Wu Jin received his orders on the moon. Alien landing craft were trying to establish a base in the lunar mountains. His job was simple: stop them. His squad had 40 soldiers and enough explosives to level a city. The aliens had 1,000 troops and air support. The odds did not matter to Wu Jin. He was human. "Remember," he told his soldiers, "we are not trying to hold this position forever. We are here to make them pay for every step. When they break through, we blow everything up and fall back to the next position." The human defense of Luna became legendary. Every crater was a fortress. Every tunnel was a trap. The aliens advanced, but each victory cost them dearly. When the humans finally retreated from a position, they left nothing useful behind. Dr. Da-Yun worked frantically in her laboratory beneath Geneva. The aliens were using biological weapons, diseases designed to kill humans quickly. But she had been preparing for this too. They think like conquerors, she told her assistants. They want to preserve the planet for themselves. That limits the weapons they can use. We have no such limits. Her countermeasures were ready. The alien diseases met human immune systems that had been prepared with decades of research. The biological weapons failed. More importantly, Dr. Daun had prepared her own surprises, computer viruses that could infect alien systems. Psychological weapons designed to break alien morale, chemical compounds that could disable alien technology. Captain Inho led a desperate mission against a hegemony command ship. His team was not trying to capture it. They were trying to plant transmitters that would broadcast human war songs directly into the alien communication networks. They fought their way through the ship's corridors. Alien soldiers fell back before human fury. Inho's team reached the communication center and activated their devices. Suddenly, every alien ship heard the same thing, human voices singing songs of defiance, of courage, of never giving up. The battle hymn of the Republic mixed with ancient Viking war chants. Modern military songs blended with tribal war dances from Africa. The psychological impact was devastating. The alien crews had expected to fight a primitive enemy. Instead, they found themselves facing warriors who sang as they died. Young Su's ship was badly damaged. Half his weapons were offline. His crew was terrified. Around him, the human attacks continued without pause. "Sir, we should retreat," his tactical officer said. "The Admiral has not given permission to withdraw." "Sir, we are losing ships faster than we can count them." Young Su looked at the tactical display. It was true. The humans were not winning, in the traditional sense. They were still outnumbered and outgunned. But they were making the hegemony pay a terrible price. Every human ship that died took aliens with it. Every human base that fell cost the enemy dozens of vessels. The humans fought like they had nothing to lose, because they did not. Commander, Mi Young's ship was surrounded by alien fighters. Her weapons were nearly depleted. Her hull was cracked in 3 places, but she was still fighting. "Captain, we have 1 missile left," her weapons officer reported. "Then make it count," she replied. The missile streaked toward an alien battleship. It was not a big explosion, but it hit the ship's reactor at exactly the right spot. The entire vessel disappeared in a ball of light. Mi Young smiled as her own ship finally died under alien fire. She had taken 20 enemy vessels with her. Not bad for a single human captain. Admiral Quan Ho stared at the battle reports in disbelief. His magnificent 10th Armada was being torn apart by an enemy that should have surrendered immediately. "Sir," Dong Min said quietly, "perhaps we should reconsider our approach." "Reconsider?" Quan Ho's voice was dangerous. "The humans are not fighting like any species we have encountered. They seem to prefer death to surrender. Our usual tactics may not work." Quan Ho turned to look at the blue planet on his screen. It was still there, still defiant, still human. For the first time in his long career, Admiral Quan Ho felt something he had never experienced before. Fear. Admiral Quan Ho called for an emergency meeting. His command staff gathered in the war room of the flagship. The mood was dark. In 2 days of fighting, the mighty 10th Armada had lost 8,000 ships. 8,000. No enemy had ever hurt them so badly. "Explain to me how this is happening," Quan Ho demanded. His xenopsychologist, Sang Min, stepped forward. He was a thin alien with pale blue skin and large black eyes. "Admiral, I have been studying the human communications. These creatures are unlike any species we have conquered." "In what way?" "Every other species fights to win. Humans fight to make us lose. They do not care about victory in the traditional sense. They care about making us pay the highest possible price." Dr. Yunji, the fleet's communication specialist, added her analysis. "I have been monitoring their broadcasts. They are not trying to negotiate. They are not looking for terms of surrender. They appear to be planning for their own extinction." "What do you mean?" Quan Ho asked. "Their final messages to each other are not about escape or survival. They are about how many of us they can kill before they die." Sang Min pulled up a holographic display. It showed human psychological profiles. "Sir, look at their history. In the past 5,000 years, they have fought over 10,000 major wars, not with aliens, with each other. They have been perfecting the art of warfare for millennia. Quan Ho studied the data. They fight their own species? Constantly. And they have developed tactics that we have never seen. They call it asymmetric warfare, making a stronger enemy pay so dearly for victory that winning becomes impossible. On the moon, Colonel Jae Sung proved this point. His human forces were vastly outnumbered by the alien landing parties. The enemy had better weapons, better armor, and air support. None of that mattered. Jae Sung had turned the entire lunar surface into a maze of tunnels and bunkers. The aliens could advance, but they never knew when the ground beneath them would explode. They never knew when a hidden human would emerge to attack their supply lines. "Sir, we have taken the mining station," reported an alien squad leader. "Good," Jae Sung replied over the radio. Then he pressed a button. The mining station disappeared in a massive explosion. The aliens had won nothing but empty craters and dead rock. Meanwhile, Jae Sung's forces had retreated to the next defensive line, ready to make the enemy pay again. Lieutenant Hyo Jin piloted her experimental mech through the lunar valleys. The machine was built from salvaged alien technology and human engineering. It was faster than alien suits, more agile than their vehicles, and deadlier than both. The low gravity of the moon let her perform impossible maneuvers. She could jump over buildings, run up cliff faces, and disappear into caves too small for alien vehicles to follow. Her mech was equipped with weapons designed for one purpose: killing aliens in the most efficient way possible. "Contact," she reported as she spotted an alien patrol. 6 enemy soldiers, heavy weapons." She attacked from above, dropping from a cliff like a metal predator. Her weapons cut through alien armor like paper. In 30 seconds, the patrol was dead. Hyo Jin was already moving to her next target before their bodies hit the ground. Today, aliens began to understand that every step forward cost them dearly. Every position they captured was a trap. Every victory was hollow because the humans destroyed everything useful before retreating. Sergeant Wu Jin received new orders. The aliens had broken through the outer defenses of the main lunar base. They would reach the reactor core within hours. His mission was clear: deny them the prize. "Listen up," he told his squad. "We have enough explosives to turn this entire base into a crater. The aliens think they are capturing a valuable facility. We are going to teach them that humans do not leave gifts for their enemies." His soldiers nodded. They were young, barely out of training. But they understood what had to be done. They would fight until the last moment, then destroy everything, rather than let the aliens use it. The battle for the base was brutal. Human soldiers fought from every doorway, every corridor, every room. They made the aliens pay for every meter with blood. When the enemy finally reached the reactor core, they found it empty except for a message written on the wall in human languages. "You won nothing. We deny you everything. This is what it means to fight humans." Then the explosives detonated. Back on Earth, Dr. Kyung-soo worked in his secret laboratory. The aliens had begun using biological weapons, diseases designed to kill humans quickly and efficiently. But Kyung-soo had been expecting this. "They think like occupiers," he told his research team. "They want to keep the planet useful after they win. That limits their options. We have no such limitations." His countermeasures were ready. Vaccines that had been developed in secret, medical treatments that could neutralize alien biological agents, chemical weapons that would make the planet uninhabitable for any species except humans. More importantly, he had studied captured alien biology. He knew their weaknesses. If the aliens wanted to use biological warfare, humans could play that game too. "Prepare the aerosol dispensers," he ordered. "If they want to poison our air, we will poison theirs." Commander Sua stood in the hidden command center beneath the Pacific Ocean. Around her, displays showed the true scope of human preparation. What the aliens saw as a primitive civilization was actually a carefully planned deception. "Admiral Taeyang, show them our real fleet," she ordered. Across the solar system, human ships began revealing themselves. They emerged from gas giant atmospheres where they had hidden for years. They uncloaked from asteroid belts where they had waited in silence. They rose from the depths of planets where they had been buried like seeds. The aliens had thought they faced 300 primitive ships. The real number was closer to 3,000. Not enough to win a conventional battle, but enough to make the enemy bleed. Admiral Changmin commanded the hidden fleet from his flagship buried inside Europa. For 20 years, his ships had waited in the ice. Now they burst forth like ancient sea monsters rising from the depths. "All ships, weapons free," he broadcast. "Show them what humans can do when we stop pretending to be weak." The hidden ships attacked with weapons the aliens had never seen. Human engineers had studied every piece of captured alien technology. They had improved it, modified it, and turned it against its creators. Private Gyu Ri and her urban warfare unit showed the aliens another human skill: improvisation. When her rifle ran out of ammunition, she used alien weapons. When those failed, she threw rocks with explosive charges attached. When the explosives were gone, she used kitchen knives and garden tools. Every human civilian was a potential soldier. Every building was a fortress. Every street was a killing ground. The aliens found that conquering human cities was like trying to hold water in their hands. "Why do they not surrender?" demanded an alien squad leader as his forces took their 5th casualty of the morning. "Because they are human," Gyu Ri replied before shooting him. General Myung-ho activated the final safeguard. Protocol Ragnarok was the ultimate expression of human determination. If Earth fell, every human facility in the solar system would detonate simultaneously. The resulting debris field would make the system uninhabitable for centuries. "Let them understand," he said as he armed the weapons. "We would rather destroy our own home than let them have it." The aliens intercepted the Protocol Ragnarok signals. Their analysts translated the human transmissions with growing horror. This species would literally destroy their own star system rather than allow occupation. "This is madness," reported the hegemony intelligence officer. "No," Sang-min replied quietly. "This is human." Captain Yan Wu led his suicide squadron against the alien planet cracker ship. The massive vessel could destroy worlds with a single shot. It had to be stopped, no matter the cost. His small fighters dove through the enemy's defensive fire. Most of his pilots died before reaching the target, but the few who survived made their attack count. They flew their ships directly into the planet cracker's main weapon. The explosion was visible from Earth. When it faded, the planet cracker was gone. So were Yan Wu and his entire squadron. But their sacrifice had saved their world. Admiral Quan Ho received the damage reports with increasing disbelief. His losses now exceeded 15,000 ships. 15,000! The humans had not won a single major engagement, but they had made victory impossibly expensive. "Sir," Dong Min said carefully, "the other fleet commanders are asking questions." "What kind of questions?" "They want to know if conquering this system is worth the cost. We have lost more ships here than in our last 10 campaigns combined." Quan Ho stared at the blue planet on his screen. It still shone defiantly in the darkness, still refused to surrender, still fought with everything it had. For the first time in his career, Admiral Quan Ho began to wonder if the hegemony had made a terrible mistake. The humans were not just fighting to resist conquest. They were fighting to teach the galaxy a lesson. They were showing every watching species that the mighty hegemony could be hurt, and across the galaxy, enslaved worlds were beginning to listen. The Hegemony Council was not pleased. Admiral Quan Ho received their message with growing dread. 30,000 additional ships were coming to the Sol system. The Council had decided that the humans must be crushed completely, no matter the cost. "You have embarrassed the hegemony," the message stated. "A primitive species has made fools of our greatest fleet. This ends now. Use whatever methods necessary. Kill every human. Burn every world. Leave nothing alive." Quan Ho authorized the use of biological weapons. These were weapons so terrible that the hegemony rarely used them. Diseases that could kill an entire species in days. Poisons that would make planets uninhabitable for thousands of years. But Dr. Kyung-soo had been ready for this moment. In his laboratory beneath the Swiss mountains, he activated countermeasures that had been prepared for decades. The alien diseases met human immune systems that had been strengthened with captured alien technology. "They think they know biological warfare," he told his team as they worked frantically to deploy the antidotes. "They have never fought a species that spent centuries fighting plagues. The biological weapons failed. Worse, they gave humans permission to use their own biological weapons. Kyung-soo released carefully designed viruses that attacked only alien biology. The enemy ships found their crews dying from diseases that humans were immune to. Commander Sua stood in the secret command center and smiled. The aliens thought they had been fighting the real human fleet. They were wrong. Show them the truth, she ordered. Across the solar system, the deception was revealed. What the aliens had thought were asteroid bases were actually just the beginning. Entire moons had been hollowed out and turned into weapon platforms. Gas giants hid fleets of ships in their atmospheres. Even the sun itself had been modified. How long? Quan Ho whispered as he watched his sensors detect thousands of new human installations. We have been preparing for 200 years, Sua broadcast on all frequencies. Since the moment we detected your first transmissions, we have been ready for this day. The truth was stunning. Humanity had known about the hegemony for centuries. They had listened to alien communications, studied alien technology, and prepared for the inevitable invasion. Every mining operation had been a disguise. Every trade mission had been reconnaissance. Every scientific expedition had been a military preparation. Admiral Chang Min revealed the hidden fleet from his command ship inside Europa. The ice moon cracked open like an egg, releasing 1,000 warships that had been built in secret over decades. Surprise, he transmitted to the alien fleet. The human ships were not primitive copies of alien technology. They were improvements. Human engineers had studied every captured alien device and made it better, faster, deadlier, more efficient. The battle for Earth became a grinding war of attrition. The aliens still outnumbered the humans, but the advantage was shrinking. Every day brought new human ships out of hiding. Every engagement cost the hegemony more than they could afford. Private Gyu Ri and her urban warfare unit demonstrated human adaptability. When the aliens adapted to their tactics, the humans changed faster. When the enemy learned to expect ambushes, humans started using alien weapons against them. They think like conquerors, Gyu Ri explained to her squad as they prepared another trap. They want to preserve things for themselves. We have no such limits. We can destroy everything if it hurts them. Her latest plan involved turning an entire city block into a massive bomb. The aliens would capture empty buildings filled with explosives. When they tried to use the area as a base, it would all detonate at once. General Myung-ho implemented the next phase of Protocol Ragnarok. If humanity could not win conventionally, they would change the rules of the game. Every human facility in space was rigged to explode, but more than that, the explosions were timed to create a debris field that would trap the alien fleet in the solar system. Let them try to leave, he said as he armed the weapons. Let them try to escape what they started. The aliens intercepted the human communications and finally understood what they were facing. The humans were not just willing to die for their world, they were willing to turn their entire star system into a tomb for both species. Captain Yan Wu led another suicide mission, this time against a hegemony command ship. His fighter squadron was outnumbered 50 to 1. The odds did not matter. What mattered was sending a message. All ships, maximum attack, he ordered. Show them that humans do not fear death. His pilots dove through the alien defensive fire, like falling stars. Most died before reaching the target, but the few who survived crashed their ships into the alien vessel's command bridge. The explosion took out the ship's entire command structure. Yan Wu's ship was the last to impact. As he flew towards certain death, he broadcast one final message. This is what happens when you threaten our home. The psychological impact on the alien fleet was devastating. They had expected to fight a rational enemy. Instead, they faced warriors who treated death as just another weapon. Lieutenant Seong Min showed human tactical evolution in action. Using captured alien equipment, he had modified their weapons in ways the aliens never considered. Their energy rifles became improvised explosives. Their communication devices became tracking systems. Their armor became traps. They build their technology to be efficient, he explained to his engineering team. We build ours to be deadly. There is a difference. His modifications turned alien equipment against its creators. Every piece of captured technology became a weapon pointed at the hegemony. The aliens found themselves afraid to use their own devices. The turning point came when Colonel Yu Jin led an assault on Admiral Quan Ho's flagship. Her mission was not to capture the ship, it was to broadcast the complete record of human resistance to every corner of the galaxy. The universe needs to see this, she told her assault team as they prepared to board the alien vessel. Every enslaved species needs to know that the hegemony can be hurt. The boarding action was brutal. Human soldiers fought through the ship's corridors with weapons that had been designed specifically for close combat. They knew they were outnumbered. They knew they would probably die. They did not care. What mattered was reaching the ship's communication array. What mattered was sending the truth to every world in the galaxy. Yujin's team fought their way to the broadcast center. Half her soldiers died in the corridors. The rest died defending the equipment while she uploaded the files. But the mission succeeded. Across the galaxy, enslaved species received the human transmissions. They saw footage of humans fighting impossible odds. They heard human voices singing songs of defiance. They watched human soldiers dying rather than surrendering. More importantly, they saw that the mighty hegemony could be defeated. Major Kiwan led the final assault on the alien flagship's main computer. His job was not to capture data, it was to plant a virus that would spread throughout the hegemony fleet. Make them afraid of their own technology, he ordered his cyber warfare team. The virus was a masterpiece of human engineering. It did not destroy alien computers. Instead, it made them unreliable. Weapons would misfire at random moments. Navigation systems would give false readings. Communication arrays would broadcast human war songs at maximum volume. The psychological effect was devastating. The alien crews began to distrust their own equipment. They started making mistakes. Fear spread through their ranks like a disease. Admiral Quan Ho watched his mighty fleet slowly fall apart. The humans had not defeated him in open battle. Instead, they had made victory so expensive that it was worthless. "Sir," Dongmin reported, "we are receiving communications from across the galaxy. Rebellion has broken out on 14 worlds. Enslaved species are declaring independence. They are using human tactics." Quan Ho closed his eyes. The humans had done more than resist invasion. They had started a galactic revolution. "What do we do now?" Dongmin asked. Quan Ho looked at the blue planet on his screen. It still shone defiantly in the darkness, still refused to surrender, still fought with everything it had. For the first time in his life, Admiral Quan Ho considered the impossible: retreat. But first, he had one more card to play. The planet-killer weapons were almost ready. If he could not conquer Earth, he would destroy it completely. The humans seemed to sense his plan. Their final transmissions were not pleas for mercy. They were promises of revenge. "If you destroy our world," came the message from Earth, "we will hunt you across the galaxy. We will teach every species how to fight you. We will make the hegemony fall." Admiral Quan Ho realized he was no longer fighting for conquest. He was fighting for survival. The hegemony's losses had reached a number that seemed impossible. 35,000 ships destroyed or damaged beyond repair. Admiral Quan Ho stared at the reports and tried to understand how this had happened. His own officers were beginning to question the mission. Captain Jin Woo, commander of the heavy cruiser Dark Storm, requested a private meeting. When he arrived at the flagship, his face showed the strain of weeks of brutal fighting. "Admiral," Jin Woo said carefully, "my crew is asking questions I cannot answer." "What kind of questions?" "They want to know why we are still fighting. We have lost more ships in this system than in our last 50 campaigns combined. The humans show no sign of surrendering. Our losses increase every day." Quan Ho's red eyes glowed with anger. "Are you suggesting we retreat?" "I am suggesting we consider whether victory is possible at any reasonable cost." Jin Woo pulled up a holographic display. "Look at these numbers, Admiral. At our current rate of losses, we will have no fleet left within 30 days. The Council has ordered us to destroy these humans completely. The Council is not here watching. Their soldiers die for empty space," Jin Woo replied. "Sir, respectfully, we need to consider our options." On Earth, Dr. Hyejin was preparing humanity's final message to the galaxy. It was not a surrender. It was not a plea for help. It was a complete record of everything the hegemony had done to conquered species over the past 3 centuries. "Every genocide," she told her team as they compiled the data. "Every forced relocation, every species driven to extinction, every world stripped of resources, send it all." The transmission would go out on every frequency, to every corner of the galaxy. Enslaved species would finally see the complete truth about their conquerors. Free species would understand what would happen if the hegemony was not stopped. Include the tactical manuals, she ordered. Everything we have learned about fighting them, every weakness we have discovered, every successful tactic we have used. The humans were turning their resistance into a handbook for galactic revolution. Even if Earth fell, the knowledge would survive. Other species would use human methods to fight their own battles for freedom. Lieutenant Seong Min demonstrated the latest evolution in human tactics. His team had completely reverse-engineered alien technology and improved it beyond the original designer's imagination. They built these weapons for conquest, he explained to his engineers. We are rebuilding them for survival. The results are very different. Human-modified alien weapons were 20% more powerful and 30% more efficient. More importantly, they were designed to be used by soldiers who expected to die. Every trigger pull might be the last, so every shot had to count. The hegemony's technological advantage was disappearing. Worse, their own weapons were being turned against them by an enemy that understood them better than they understood themselves. Colonel Yu Jin planned the final assault on the hegemony command structure. The mission was not to capture prisoners or strategic intelligence. The goal was to broadcast Earth's complete defiance to every ship in the alien fleet. They need to see what they are really fighting, she told her assault team. Not a primitive species that will surrender when threatened, a civilization that becomes more dangerous when cornered. Her soldiers were volunteers for a suicide mission. They would board the alien flagship, fight their way to the communication center, and broadcast humanity's final message. None of them expected to survive. Remember, Yu Jin said as they prepared for launch, we are not trying to win this battle. We are trying to win the war that comes after. The boarding action began at dawn. Human assault shuttles crashed through the flagship's defensive screens like angry hornets. Most were destroyed before reaching the hull, but enough survived to deliver their cargo of human determination. Yu Jin led her team through the alien ship's corridors. Every meter was purchased with blood. Her soldiers fell one by one, but they never stopped advancing. The aliens had superior numbers and better positions. They did not have superior will. Communication center ahead, reported her demolitions expert just before an alien plasma bolt cut him down. Yu Jin and her remaining soldiers fought their way into the broadcast facility. 3 humans against 30 aliens. The odds were impossible. The humans attacked anyway. When the smoke cleared, Yu Jin was the only one left alive. She was badly wounded and surrounded by alien reinforcements. But she had reached the communication array. This is Colonel Yu Jin of the Terran Defense Force, she broadcast as alien soldiers closed in. I speak for the people of Earth. We have a message for the galaxy. The transmission went out on all frequencies. Every ship in the system received it. Every world in the hegemony's empire heard the words. You came to our home expecting easy conquest. You brought overwhelming force against a peaceful species. You believed we would surrender rather than fight. You were wrong on every count. Yu Jin fell as alien weapons found their mark. But her voice continued. This is our answer to your ultimatum. We will never surrender. We will never submit. We will fight until the last human dies, and then our ghosts will hunt you across the stars. The broadcast included complete tactical manuals for fighting the hegemony, detailed analysis of their weapons and technology, psychological profiles of their species. Everything humanity had learned during the brutal battle for Earth. Major Kiwon led the final cyber warfare attack. His mission was to plant viruses in every alien computer system he could reach. The viruses would not destroy the alien technology. They would make it unreliable. Fear is our best weapon, he told his team. Make them afraid of their own ships. The cyber attack was devastating. Alien weapons began misfiring at random. Navigation systems gave false readings. Life support systems developed mysterious glitches. The alien crews began to distrust everything around them. More importantly, the viruses carried copies of the human broadcasts. Every alien ship became a transmission station, spreading humanity's message of defiance throughout the galaxy. Admiral Quan Ho watched his fleet slowly disintegrate. Not from battle damage, though that was severe enough. His ships were falling apart from within as crews lost confidence in their equipment and their mission. Sir, Dongmen reported, we are receiving reports from across the galaxy. 47 Worlds have declared independence. Enslaved species are using human tactics to fight our garrison forces. How many ships are in rebellion? Unknown, sir. The reports are fragmentary. But it appears that the human broadcasts have started a chain reaction. Quan Ho stared at the tactical display. The blue planet still shone in the center of his screen. Still defiant. Still human. Captain Jin Woo's rebellion came at midnight. He was not alone. 15 other ship commanders joined him in sending a message to Admiral Quan Ho. "We can no longer support this mission," the message stated. "The cost has become unbearable. Our crews are demoralized. Our equipment is unreliable. Our losses mount daily. We request permission to withdraw from this system." It was mutiny. In 300 years of conquest, no hegemony fleet had ever faced internal rebellion. But the humans had achieved the impossible. They had broken the enemy's will to fight. Quan Ho knew he had two choices. He could have the rebel commanders executed and continue the hopeless battle. Or he could admit what everyone already knew. The humans had won. But before he could decide, the humans made the choice for him. Commander Minho activated the final phase of Earth's defense. The entire solar system had been converted into a massive weapon system. Not just the planets and moons, the sun itself. "You want to see consequences?" he broadcast to the alien fleet. "We will show you consequences." Solar flares erupted from the human star in carefully controlled bursts. The magnetic fields created an area denial weapon that could sterilize entire fleets. Any ship that remained in the system would be cooked by radiation. Dr. Arin delivered Earth's final ultimatum from the command bunker beneath Geneva. "You came to our home with demands. You brought overwhelming force against a peaceful species. You believed we would surrender rather than fight. You were wrong on every count." Her voice was calm, almost gentle. But her words carried the weight of human determination. "This is our answer to your ultimatum. Withdraw immediately and never return, or we will hunt you across the galaxy until every ship bearing your insignia is destroyed." The threat was not empty. Human ships were already launching pursuit missions beyond the solar system. They would follow the retreating aliens and ensure that every species in the galaxy knew what had happened here. Admiral Quan Ho faced the impossible decision. Continue fighting and lose everything, or retreat and face the Council's wrath. The choice was made for him when his own flagship began experiencing system failures. The human cyber attacks had reached even his command ship. His weapons were unreliable. His engines were questionable. His life support was showing dangerous fluctuations. "Signal the fleet," he ordered quietly. "General withdrawal. All ships are to leave this system immediately." The retreat became a rout. Hegemony ships fled the solar system as fast as their engines could carry them. Behind them, human pursuit. Squadrons followed like hunting wolves, ensuring that no alien vessel escaped without carrying the message of human defiance. Captain Jun Ho led the pursuit forces. His job was not to destroy the fleeing aliens. It was to... The 10th Armada was broken. Of the 80,000 ships that had entered the Sol system with such confidence, fewer than 10,000 remained combat-ready. The rest were destroyed, damaged beyond repair, or fleeing in panic toward the outer rim of the galaxy. Admiral Quan Ho sat alone in his command chamber, staring at the tactical displays that showed his defeat. For 3 centuries, the hegemony had been unstoppable. Now they had been shattered by a single species that refused to understand the meaning of surrender. His communication officer interrupted his dark thoughts. "Sir, we are receiving a transmission from the Hegemony Council." Quan Ho knew what the message would say before he opened it. The Council did not tolerate failure. They certainly did not tolerate the complete destruction of their most powerful fleet. "Admiral Quan Ho," the message began, "your failure has brought shame upon the hegemony. You will return to the capital immediately to face judgment. If you refuse, you will be hunted down and executed as a traitor." Quan Ho deleted the message without finishing it. The Council could threaten him all they wanted. He had bigger problems. The humans were still broadcasting their defiance across the galaxy, and worse, other species were listening. Commander Minho stood in the solar control station that humans had secretly built inside Mercury. Around him, technicians monitored the massive solar manipulation devices that had been installed over decades of preparation. Final phase is ready, reported his chief engineer. We can trigger controlled solar flares for the next 6 months. Any ship that enters this system will be destroyed by radiation. Minho nodded. The humans had turned their own star into a weapon. But more than that, they had made it clear that they would rather destroy their entire solar system than allow. Alien occupation! Send the final warning, he ordered. The message went out on all frequencies, reaching every corner of the galaxy. It was broadcast in 100 different languages, ensuring that every species would understand. Dr. Arin delivered the words from Earth's capital. Her voice was steady, calm, and absolutely certain. People of the galaxy, she began. Today, you have witnessed the defeat of the hegemony's 10th Armada. For 300 years, they told you that resistance was impossible. They lied. The broadcast included complete tactical analysis of the battle. Every successful human strategy was explained in detail. Every alien weakness was documented. Every psychological warfare technique was shared freely. We are sharing this information with all species, Arin continued. Use it. Adapt it. Improve it. The hegemony's time of dominance is ending. The age of freedom has begun. Admiral Quan Ho watched the broadcast with growing horror. The humans were not just celebrating their victory. They were teaching the entire galaxy how to fight the hegemony. Sir, his tactical officer Dong Min said quietly, we are receiving reports of rebellion on 63 worlds. Enslaved species are declaring independence. They are using human tactics. How many of our garrison fleets are under attack? All of them, sir. The human victory had started a chain reaction. Across the galaxy, species that had been enslaved for centuries were rising up. They used the weapons and tactics that humanity had shared. More importantly, they used the human example of never surrendering. Captain Junho led the human pursuit squadrons that followed the fleeing hegemony ships. His mission was not destruction, it was education. Remember, he told his pilots, every alien ship that escapes carries our message to their home worlds. They will tell everyone what they saw here. They will spread the word that the hegemony can be defeated. The pursuit ships broadcast continuously as they chased the aliens. Human, war songs mixed with tactical instructions. Battle cries in dozens of languages echoed through space. Most importantly, the complete record of human defiance was transmitted to every ship they encountered. The psychological impact was devastating. Hegemony crews who had never known defeat were now running from humans they had expected to conquer, easily. Their morale collapsed completely. Captain Young Su, who had led the first attack on Earth, now commanded a ship with half its crew dead and most of its systems failing. He had watched the humans turn his mighty fleet into scrap metal through sheer determination. Sir, his communications officer reported, we are receiving surrender offers from 14 of our escort ships. The crews want to join the human alliance. Young-Su was not surprised. The humans had shown something the hegemony had never possessed. The ability to inspire others to fight for freedom rather than conquest. On Earth, President Sujin addressed the human population for the last time as a wartime leader. My fellow humans, she said, we have done something that was thought impossible. We have defeated the mightiest fleet in the galaxy. But more importantly, we have shown the universe that freedom is worth any price. The celebration was brief. Humans understood that their victory was just the beginning. The hegemony still controlled thousands of worlds. But now those worlds knew that rebellion was possible. General Boram announced the formation of the Galactic Liberation Front. Human ships and volunteers would travel to enslaved worlds, bringing weapons, training, and most importantly, hope. We will not stop with defending Earth, she declared. We will not rest until every species is free to choose its own destiny. Dr. Jiho's psychological analysis had proved correct. The humans had won not through superior firepower, but through superior will. They had made the cost of conquest so high that even victory became defeat. Engineer Sola finished the final modifications to the communication networks. Every human settlement in the galaxy would now be connected. If the hegemony attacked any human world, all others would know, immediately and respond. We are no longer just the people of Earth, she announced. We are humanity, scattered across the stars, but united in purpose. The aliens began to understand the true scope of their defeat. They had not just lost a battle, they had created an enemy that would never stop fighting. Admiral Quan Ho received reports from across the hegemony's empire. Rebellion was spreading like wildfire. Garrison fleets were being overwhelmed by newly freed species using human tactics. The carefully maintained order of 3 centuries was collapsing. His own officers were abandoning their posts. Some joined the rebels. Others simply disappeared into the vast reaches of space. A few, like Captain Jinwoo, requested asylum on human worlds. "Sir," Dongmin said, "what are your orders?" Quan Ho looked at his tactical display one last time. The blue planet, still shown in the center, now surrounded by a growing fleet of human ships, still defiant, still impossible to conquer. "Signal our remaining ships," he said finally. "Full retreat. Anyone who wants to surrender to the humans may do so. Anyone who wants to join the rebellion has my permission." "And you, sir?" Quan Ho stood up slowly. He was tired beyond measure. Tired of conquest, tired of death, tired of serving an empire that had forgotten why it existed. "I am going to do something I should have done years ago," he said. "I am going to think about what I have become." The hegemony's defeat was complete, not just military but moral. Their empire began fragmenting as world after world declared independence. The humans had not just won a battle, they had started a revolution that would reshape the galaxy. Earth's final transmission went out as the last alien ships fled the solar system. It was simple, direct, and absolutely clear. "This is Earth. We gave you every chance to withdraw peacefully. You chose war. You brought overwhelming force against a peaceful species. You believed we would surrender rather than fight. You discovered that humans do not surrender. We do not submit. We do not forgive those who threaten our freedom. Your ultimatum has been answered. The price has been paid. Remember this lesson when you consider threatening any species again. Freedom is not negotiable. Resistance is not futile. And humans never forget." Admiral Quan Ho's final log entry was brief. "The humans were right. We asked for surrender and they gave us war. We brought overwhelming force and they brought overwhelming will. They have won, not because they were stronger, but because they made victory too expensive for us to afford." Earth's ultimatum was clear. Withdraw or face consequences we could not comprehend. We did not listen. Now we understand. The age of the hegemony is ending. The age of freedom has begun. May whatever gods watch over us have mercy on what we have become. The blue planet continued to shine in the darkness of space. Free, defiant, human. And across the galaxy, 1,000 worlds looked up at their own skies and remembered what it meant to be free. The humans had kept their promise. They had shown the universe that surrender was not the only option. That resistance was possible. That freedom was worth any price. The 10th Armada was gone. But the human spirit was eternal, and the galaxy would never be the same.